Greetings, peace, what's up? Hotep Habaragani. Welcome to Heavyweights Branding Presents 7 Keys to Unlocking Your Music Success System in 2012. Again, my name is Tariq Scott, aka Big Ty, and we're on key number 2, so we're going to get right into it. Now, key number 2 is Kujichagulia, which just means self-determination. And these are key Swahili words that are associated with Kwanzaa, just for the people that just want to know, where am I getting all of these different and, weird words if you're not used to it. So Kujichagulia equals self-determination. Now, self-determination is defined as the power or ability to make a decision for oneself without influence from the outside. So now you may be asking, Tariq, how can I be self-determined and a business is always telling me to be like someone else, or rather the gatekeepers that are in the business that are always telling me, I should be like so-and-so. It's a challenge to exercise Kujichagulia or self-determination in a music business that tells you to repeat the success models of whoever is hot right now. So, your gatekeepers, again, who are your DJs, your A&Rs, your managers, promoters, record label execs, they'll say, you need a hit like blank, and you just basically fill in whoever's hot at that moment, and that's what you will often hear. So how can I be asking you or saying, we're going to work on self-determination? I sound a little crazy, right? Well, I'll say this. It's pretty easy for someone in the business to tell you that you need to do something that has already shown that it works. That's an easy thing to do. Say, hey, look at so and so, and it changes every week. Every time somebody achieves success monetarily, or a number of record spins, or a level of fame, they point to those people as examples of what you should do. But most of the gatekeepers, they can't break down to you specifically, like, well, how did these people actually do it? They'll just say you need to do it like so and so. But how, they don't know, because most of them that are saying this, they weren't even a part of those individuals' success stories. And then on top of that, by the time you see an artist and their team manifest a success system, that success system is probably obsolete. So telling you to do it at this point, whatever they did, most of the time it doesn't even apply to what's going on right now. The other problem that I have with the copycat system is for someone to just generically tell you that you need to duplicate success like someone else. It's almost like comparing apples to oranges, because what that person used to achieve their success may not be your circumstance. So it's apple and oranges. It's night and day. Without me actually just looking into your particular situation, for me to say, you need to do it like Drake did it, but you don't come from the same situation as Drake, but yet you're still paying money to be told to achieve success and to get a prescription without an examination on what actually is specifically, personal and applies to what's going on with you. So, okay, back to today's key. So how do you exercise self-determination? And not just self-determination, period, but how do you exercise it successfully? Because anybody can make decisions for themselves. You see artists do it all the time, and they're making decisions for themselves, and they're often by themselves. So how do you exercise Kujichagulia or self-determination successfully? And I want to go back to one of our keys from our previous key, which was unity, and we're going to go into the 100 disciples. The way that you are able to exercise self-determination is by creating your own community, or your 100 disciples, with people that are very into what you're doing, and and what your music and your message resonates them. That is how you exercise self-determination. So again, we're going back to what we talked about before, and I guess the next thing is, well, how do we get 100 disciples? All right, let's see. Okay, so you get your 100 music disciples by finding your unique selling points. And your unique selling point is a real or emotional quality of an artist that no other similar artist has, and is used in branding to build a community of loyal fans, aka music disciples, that are around the artist. So we're going against the grain here. I'm not telling you, like a lot of other gatekeepers, to be like someone else or whoever's winning at the moment to win or to enter into the music business. I'm actually telling you, find out what makes you different, and so that you can build your own community, so that you can be embraced by your difference. But now, those 100 music disciples, they're not just going to come to you, because there are other people that are doing music too, believe it or not. And so you have to figure out, why should these people come to you? So let's go into Sun Tzu, who was a great ancient Chinese general and military strategist, and he wrote this great book called The Art of War. And he had strategies in these books that military generals have used for thousands of years up until today. And a lot of these military strategies are also converted into business strategies. And one of these quotes that I like to pull out from the book is, "It is best to win without fighting." Now, the meaning of that quote, as it applies to you and your music business, is it is best to beat your competition without competing. So you trying to get these 100 music disciples, but how you going to get them? I could tell you to spend, money on advertising and, to get your buzz up. But no, again, that's what the gatekeepers tell you. Tariq is not going to tell you that. But how do you compete against other people without competing and doing what you do? So let's understand what I mean first about competition. I'm not talking about battle rapping or talking bad about somebody or hating on someone. You have to understand that in business, anytime the person is given a choice of more than one, then that's competition. You cannot help it. You cannot get around it. A choice equals competition. When someone can choose something other than you or one thing, then you are competing for their attention at the very minimum, and at the most, you're competing for their loyalty and their dollar. But check this out. I don't actually want you to compete, though. I don't want you to compete. But see, the perception of competition really exists when the people, the fans, the consumers cannot tell the difference between you and anyone else. So you end up looking like Me Too. That's what they call it, the concept of Me Too, where it's just a bunch of clones. Now, again, it's hard for you to understand sometimes because you're yourself, you think you're different, but to the fans, without having a unique selling point, you look just like everyone else, or not everyone else, but you look like the people that are very similar to you in your genre or your lane of music. I know that many of you think because the singing or rapping is coming out of your mouth that it's enough for people to tell the difference. The truth is that people can't tell the difference between you and the other artists just from a surface look. Most of you listening to this, you couldn't even tell me what the real difference between you and another artist is, other than saying that you rap or you sing better or you're real or you represent the true such and such. But what does that really mean to anyone? Check out these two iPhones that you see in this picture. Can you tell which one is real or which one is fake? Now, I'm telling you, one is a clone. On the surface, you can't tell the difference. You would actually have to use them in order to tell what the difference is. Now, people, they already want an iPhone, so they would go that extra step to find out what was real. People don't start out wanting your music. So if you don't stand out from the start, people get disinterested very quickly. And this is why you must discover your unique selling point. Artists who understand their unique selling points and how to convey them to people attract people to them naturally and don't have to spend a lot of time, money, and resources competing against the sameness. When people can't tell the difference between competing brands, then things like who spends the most money on promotions and who gets the most radio play becomes the most important things. And then you end up competing for the same generic people. And you end up basically being like a bunch of crabs in a barrel. But I don't want you to be a crab in a barrel. I want you to be unique and different and get out that barrel, because you want to perform music, create music. You don't want to spend time being a crab in a barrel competing for the same thing from the same people. You want to find your own unique 100 music disciples that feel what you're doing. You feel me? If you don't find out what makes you different, you end up being white noise to the people. And that's that noise that is just static and it's just on. And after a while, people just ignore you. And a lot of you, I know you're going through that right now. You're trying to figure out, how can I, stand out? How can I be seen? And how can I not be background white noise? Just shh. You want to be that artist that stands out clearly in HD and in living color to your fans and to the people. In order to do that, you have to be able to answer the ultimate question in every potential fan's mind. Why should I buy from you? Ask it. It's a rhetorical question, but ask the question to yourself right now and see if you really have a good answer. If your answer still is, well, you should choose me because I'm the best or I'm the realest, well, guess what? That's the standard now. The customer expects you to be the best. They expect you to be the realest. That's no longer an exception. And if you feel like that you are the exception, then you are comparing yourself to people and artists that are below these standards, and you need to raise the bar of who you consider your competition. So now that I think I got your attention, how do we find your unique selling points? Well, there's a couple of ways we can go by achieving this, and I'm going to give you a few suggestions, and then we have, of course, a worksheet, because I try to give you some homework to do, an activity, so that we can figure this out. Well, the first way to start with finding your unique selling point is start with who you are. Who are you personally? Really, it's the most natural thing to do. You can play up something that's real positive about yourself, or even something not so positive. It just has to be interesting and engaging. It's almost it's as if when you meet someone and you say, if you're a man, you say, hey, what's up? My name is Tariq. I don't go up to a person and go, hey, what's up? I'm a man. A lot of you say, hey, I'm the best rapper. You don't say, hey, what's up? I am rapper so-and-so, and this is who I am. So who you are. And let's get into some examples of who shows that in a very good way. Okay, so Nicki Minaj is a great example of an artist who started out with who she was. She started off by telling people that she was the Black Barbie, and she literally reflected in her dress, her image, her facial expressions. Now, this is not to point out to someone that you should like or not like, and I'm not telling you that you should do what she's doing. I'm just giving you an example of someone who came out, and when she said who she was, people were attracted to who she was first. She had a whole bunch of young girls following after her, wanting to be a Black Barbie. So that is one great example. And this is before she even had an album out. When she started her mixtapes and everything, she identified who she was to the people first. Okay, so then you have KRS-One, who when he came out, he said he was the teacher. So if you were vibing with philosophy, culture, or anything of that level, you gravitated towards him. He said, I'm KRS-One, the teacher. And he said that when people were saying that they were the kings of rap, or they were the gangsters of rap. So he identified himself against all of that in a time when no one else was calling themselves the teacher. In pop music, you have Lady Gaga, who has come out and been an activist for gay rights. And so, of course, a lot of her fan base are people who are gay people, or people who identify with gay rights. And she has made a point to come out and state that this is who I am. I support gay rights. So it gives her audience a crowd that is vibing and feeling what she's saying. So again, start with who you are. Another suggestion of finding a unique selling point is to mix two strong and probably opposing ideas together. No human being is one way or another, and if you represent two strong ideas that sort of oppose or complement each other, there's a lane. Let's see who does this very well. Okay, so you have Little B, who mixes nonsense rap with socially aware lyrics. You have Jay-Z, who mixes the struggles of a street hustler with the success of a corporate mogul. And then you have Kanye West, who takes the shallowness of a materialistic driven person and it mixes it with social and cultural consciousness. And oftentimes when you mix two strong opposing ideas, you create controversy, but more important than that, you create a conversation. Man, I'm giving away all this stuff for free, man. Woo! Some good information here. The next way to find your unique selling point is to narrow your target and your topic. Stop trying to be universal. There's no such thing as being universal. Really what happens is people are great at speaking to one group, and then from that core group, the message may resonate to a wider audience. But stop saying that you're a universal artist. What you really come off as a confused artist, because no one can be a whole bunch of things for everybody at one time. You have to figure out. Now, you may be versatile. You may be able to speak to different and various things, but you need a core message. You need a target. You need a topic or related topics, so people can start to gauge where you at. You want to show up on the radar. When you're universal, you don't show up on the radar. People don't get you. They don't, know where you're coming from. Okay, now here's some examples of some artists who target and speak to a specific audience. You have in hip hop, you have your MF Doom, you have neo soul and R&B Jill Scott. I guess you could say hip hop and alternative. You have Tech Nine, and also in hip hop and R&B you have Odd Future. So definitely, I just wanted to give you some examples so that you see that this is happening and it's not something that I'm just making up. These artists don't have a universal message, but yet you've probably heard of all of them or most of them, and what they have is a career. They may not be on the radio all the time or at all, but they have a career. They are making money. They are on tour. They have an audience, and they're taking this route is not a fast route, but it lasts longer in the long run. All right, and the next thing that you need to consider as far as finding your unique selling point is, what emotional need does your music fulfill? Important question that you have to ask yourself. A great quote that drives this point home is from Maya Angelou, where she says, "I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel." And that's so important to music, because music primarily is a feeling thing. And so you have to figure out, what emotion do you speak to in a human being? Because if it's all about, just again what you're doing, people they don't remember that. You remember that, but they don't remember that. They remember how they feel. They remember the experience that you gave them. So again, using our examples, we have artist named Olivia, R&B artist, and for those of you that may watch the show Love and Hip Hop, she's on the show and she's going through the process of trying to get another record deal. And in one of the more recent shows, she took a meeting with Wayne Williams over at Jive, senior vice president of A&R over at Jive, and basically he was telling her people need to know who Olivia is. And what he was saying was, there's no emotional connection. And she kept going through all of the things that she felt like her and her manager, that they were doing, and how, great, because he told her, basically, you don't have the numbers. He went through the stats, he read her BDS spins, and you don't have the numbers. Okay, so I can't even go in the meeting because you don't have the numbers. But then the other thing that you're missing is that you have no emotional connection. People don't know who you are. So you got to give me one or the other. Really, you should give both. And that's what he was trying to tell her, and she wasn't getting it. So as an artist, and a lot of times this is what people try to tell you as an artist, that, either you need the numbers or you need a connection. Because if you have the emotional connection, trust me, you're going to have the 100 or more music disciples. And what happens is, when you have the people that's following you, people know that can turn into numbers. So having followers, meaning people who are very passionate about what you're doing, somebody who knows business can turn that into money and also increase that. So, but let's look at someone who does show emotional connection. Okay, so now we look at Mary J. Blige. Strong emotional connection with her fan base since her inception, and she's tapped on different emotions. In the beginning of her career, I believe that she tapped into the pain of failed relationships and consoling, and and I think women connected with her with that. Now, later on in her career, it seems like she's tapping into the empowerment of enjoying life and living for oneself. So it's always an emotional connection there, and she's not the best singer. However, her emotional connection that she has with her fans and the people that hear her music will trump everything else. And I believe that Mary J. Blige fans, because she has such a strong emotional connection with them, they don't judge her by each record. So if Mary makes a record you don't like, because you have an emotional connection with her, you're going to give her another chance, because again, you're in it for the long haul. The fans are in it for the long haul with the people who they have the emotional connection with. If you make it about just how great you sing and how great you rap, then you're going to make it about each record. They're going to judge on each record. So you might luck up or, and get that one record. But if there's no connection, then the next record is just only going to be judged on whether they like it or not whether they like you or not. Okay, so we're at the end of key number 2, which has been Kujichagulia, self-determination. So I hope you really got something out of this presentation, and I have some homework for you. I have a worksheet for you. It's a unique selling point worksheet. It's going to help you actually determine what your unique selling point is. So I have different categories on the worksheet, and I need you to fill your name out on it. And then you'll put 5 other artists that you consider your competition, whether they be commercial or independent. And then what you're going to do from 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the most, is rate yourself and them in each one of these categories. And just remember, you're rating yourself and rating them on how you perceive how great they are in each category individually, not how great you are against them. And how you find your unique selling point is by looking at the categories in which you score the highest in, and that you don't see anyone else score high in. Then that's your unique selling point. Now let me also add that if there's any categories that you feel like you have a strong unique selling point in that's not on the chart, then you just add it, and then you rate yourself and everybody else. What's great about this is that you actually get to see on paper, like, what are your unique, is there anything about you that makes you unique against the people that you consider competition? And a lot of times when I've done this exercise before with artists, it's a eye opener, because you see, like, wow, I never compared myself like this analytically against other artists. So, and after you do it, and of course I want you to be honest, because if you're not honest, then if you're not going to be honest about it, then don't do it, because you're not going to get the benefit unless you're totally honest. And then after that, ask one person who you trust to be objective, who you trust to keep it real, who's not scared to tell you that your boo-boo stinks, to fill out the worksheet too, using the same artist that you use against you, and then compare, because it's good to see how someone else perceives you and your competition. So, ask someone that is close to you, and even someone that works with you. If you have someone that does business with you, ask them to fill it out, because you want to see how they perceive you versus the competition. And then once you identify what your unique selling points are, then it's your duty to then focus on those points and selling yourself to your customer. You don't even have to say I'm better than someone in this. You just focus on those points and the people, they'll see it. Alright, so our next key coming up, key number 3 is Ujima, which is collective works and responsibilities, and we're basically going to go over turning your pain into passion and profit, and also building your own cipher. So that's the next one coming up, so look out for that. Alright, and if you made it this far, give yourself a big up, and know that it's only gonna get better. Once again, my name is Tariq Scott, aka Big Ty. The company is Heavyweights Branding, and this is the 7 keys to unlocking your music success system for 2012. Peace.